I did a little survey and asked you guys, how did you like the first Formula One race in 2026? And it was quite interesting to see that less than 20% actually liked the race, and 28% said they didn't like it and things need to change quickly. And more than 50% said they're not sure and they want to wait for the next races. So, what's going on there? So in previous years, we had a power split of 80 to 20, so 80% combustion engine and 20% electric power. Now, they wanted to keep the overall around 1000 horsepower, but do a 50-50 split, which we almost reached now. So we have around 550 horsepower from the combustion engine and 476 horsepower on the electric side. Now, where does this energy for the electric side come from? You can see that last year it was a little bit more complex because we also had an MGU-H, which is now missing in 2026. So last year was only allowed to harvest 2 megajoule per lap from the MGU-K and push it into the energy storage, which has a capacity of 4 megajoule. Now, the 4 megajoule storage stayed the same, so we don't have a bigger and much heavier battery, but it is allowed now to have 9 megajoules from the MGU-K being pushed into the energy storage. So to use this much more electric energy, teams are allowed to harvest a lot more energy from the MGU-K. The problem is just that only with the MGU-K at the rear axle, you can only harvest between 2 and 3 megajoule per lap. So where do the remaining 5-6 megajoule come from? That is the huge problem. We don't have any other means to generate more energy. There's only the MGU-K, and the rear axle is already on its traction limit. So what can power unit manufacturers do now? They use the combustion engine to charge the battery. And this is where the remaining energy is coming from. So what does that mean for the drivers? For the drivers, that means that energy management has highest priority, and they're no longer driving on the limit. And also, if you think about a straight, for example, they use the electric energy to accelerate as much as possible at the beginning, then they're running out of energy, and at the end of the straight, they're even clipping or even super clipping, which means the combustion engine is recharging the battery to recharge for the next acceleration zone. And you have to remember here that the combustion engine is a lot less powerful than in previous years, so we are only talking about around 550 horsepower. And if we are doing super clipping to charge the battery, which happens quite often, then you even deduct power from the combustion engine, which means that they're even slower. There's a lot of software, a lot of artificial intelligence in the background, and the driver is not in full control. And we could also see that with Piastri, who, because of the software issues, suddenly had more than 100 horsepower more than he was expecting, and suddenly he was crashing in front of his home crowd, and he looked like a clown. It's no longer in the driver's hands. The drivers have to hope that they have the better software inside the car, and that is really artificial. And yes, we see some back and forth overtaking, but this is when a driver presses the boost button to get by, and suddenly his battery is empty again, and he will be a sitting duck on the next straight. And then we see an overtake again. All of that is pretty artificial, it's no real racing, and once the teams have figured out their energy management strategies, they will become more and more equal, so we will see less and less of that. And in the end, we could see a championship which is simply dominated by Mercedes, and we end up with cars driving behind each other with the same energy management strategies and with constant DRS, so we have a constant DRS train. In addition to that, it's hard to follow each other, like we discovered in my previous CFD videos, and as we could see in the second part of the first race. So let's see what the next races bring, but it looks like it's gonna be less and less interesting instead of more and more interesting. And another interesting topic I want to talk about is the Alpine Formula One team. Alpine used to be a works team, and because of their lack of success on the power unit side, they lost all of their customers and now even lost the support of the Renault management, and they closed the engine factory. So now Alpine became a Mercedes customer team, and this is creating quite some new situations. On one hand, we have Christian Horner, who was fired by Red Bull and is now trying to get back to Formula One. But he doesn't just want to be a team boss, he wants to be a shareholder, he wants to own his own team, he wants to do it like Toto. On the other hand, Alpine is now a customer team of Mercedes. And that means that Mercedes needs to deal with the Alpine stuff. So if Horner is buying Alpine, then Horner would be a customer to Mercedes and Toto would have to deal with him every day. And now rumors came up that actually Mercedes and Toto Wolff are interested in buying shares of the Alpine Formula One team. It would not just block Horner's way back into Formula One, Toto Wolff would also avoid to have to deal with him again. And on the other hand, Mercedes is still looking for a junior team, and the Enstone team is, in terms of location, pretty nicely located, so not far away from Brackley and Brixworth. And it's also a pretty nice factory there and well equipped with good stuff. So it would be the perfect Mercedes junior team. Now they're using the same engine, the same gearbox, and for Mercedes it would be great to park their young driver talent and to build a similar structure to Red Bull with Racing Bulls and the main team, Red Bull. So how do you like the new 2026 Formula One regulations, and how do you think the situation around the Alpine F1 team will unfold? Let me know in the comments below, and see you at the next video.